summer of 2024 to my ballistic blood brothers and sisters in arms. Thank you for joining me out at the test facility. I can't believe I'm back. I'm so glad you're here with me. Quite often when we come out here together, we're discussing something new and exciting, some cutting-edge technology, something that's recently been introduced, and it's a lot of fun to go over those things together. Today, what we have is a little bit different. It's something that's equally as exciting, but it's certainly not something new. It actually goes back to, in its earliest roots, the late 1970s, in its first commercial or factory roots to the mid-1980s. And this would be the Colt Department of Energy, or the DOE 9mm M16. So most of us are up to history on the evolution of the black rifle and the history of the M16 and the AR-15. So I don't want to go back that far in this video. Let's talk a little bit about the introduction to this, the DOE 9mm M16. So by the 1970s or early 1980s, pistol caliber machine guns really didn't have a whole lot of interest to our military anymore. But there was a new market, and that new market was law enforcement and security. And you look at it today, you know, in 2024, pistol caliber carbines, or PCCs as they're called, have spurred a brand new market themselves, and they're extremely popular. Back in those days, the mid to late 1960s, HK was one of the top dogs with the MP5, and still remains one of the best ones out there in my opinion, as well as Uzi. The Uzi, even as an open bolt select fire submachine gun, it's foolproof, it runs good. Everybody that handles it seems to have the ability to pick up, be able to be accurate with it, controllable and comfortable with it in no time, and it's still a terrific gun today. But Colt wanted a piece of that pie, and that's where the DOE came in. This gun was often referred to as the suitcase gun or the briefcase gun because it was so small. It was something that would have the ability to be stored where a pistol would usually be employed or utilized, but to give you far superior firepower and some decent sights with the ability to aim. And in this case, you know, a select fire to give you full auto if you needed it. That was the reasoning behind this. The rifle round was fine, again, in military applications, but security forces and police departments had a concern about over-penetration of the 5.56 round, and the 9mm pistol round was a little bit more attractive for that. I've also heard with the Department of Energy that they didn't want the over-penetration either, because if you're using one in or around a nuclear facility, over-penetration of sensitive places can obviously be a problem. And the 9mm, especially if you're running frangible rounds, can almost alleviate that, or at least cut it back significantly. These little DOE guns function very, very similar internally to that of the regular AR-15 or M16, but it is not direct gas impingement, it is a blowback operated gun. So it works like a lot of the earlier submachine guns. There is no gas system, it's just straight blowback operated. And that to some was considered less than desirable because the direct gas impingement controls the recoil so well, as opposed to a blowback bolt, which really has a lot more force when it's returning. So they were typically issued with a hydraulic buffer. I run mine with a mechanical rate reducing buffer, one of the MGI buffers, and I've had terrific luck with those. Unlike a lot of the earlier submachine guns of the time, this one does fire from a closed bolt, so the potential for accuracy is a lot better. You don't have the mass of that whole bolt moving forward every time you want to fire it. All you're doing is releasing the hammer, which is striking the firing pin. And in order to help out with safety issues, the firing pins are spring-loaded. Let's put a couple rounds down range with this, and let's see what you think. Let's see if you like it as much as I do, because I really, really do. This little 7-inch barrel performs a lot better than you would assume that it would. It's really, really, really accurate, especially with just a little bit of practice. And of course, you have the comfort of an AR-15 or an M16 if that's something that you're used to. So everything feels familiar right off the bat. It's not anything that you have to learn from scratch again. With the Uzi, you've got the grip safety. I noticed a lot of new shooters don't engage that, and the gun tends to lock up. With the MP5, you've got the handle on the side. People that have trained with these charging handle styles might have a brain cramp for a second, and precious time can create problems. This little beast is just another AR-15 or M16 for the most part, at least control-wise, and I think that's why a lot of people gravitate to it once they've had the opportunity to try it out. Now, the original DOE guns are very, very rare. And when you do find one, obviously they're very expensive. But we're fortunate. Tom Liemohn makes these. All right, wait just a minute. Sorry about this, but I've got to cut in and make a correction. The company that makes the DOE upper is Liemohn Manufacturing. And you're going to hear this idiot mispronouncing it the rest of this video. But I wanted to make that crystal clear. I just found out for certain last night, Tom Liemohn and I have been talking for a long time, but by email and text message, we hadn't spoken. And I had a 50-50 shot as to how to pronounce his name. And of course, I pronounced it incorrectly. So from this point forward, obviously I'll know. But it is Tom Liemohn at Liemohn Manufacturing. Now, let's get back to the range. So this is not one of the original DOE guns. This is one of Tom's upper receivers that I dropped on one of my early lower receivers. It looks beautiful, and it is priced at a fraction of what the originals cost. For a matter of fact, a lot of people that own originals will also buy one of Tom's uppers, so they don't have to worry about overusing or overshooting their expensive investment, and they've got Tom's for when they want to go to the range and have some fun. And I see why, because I've been to the range with it several times already, and it is a lot of fun. It's very accurate, it's very controllable, it's very reliable. It feeds from a magazine that looks a lot like a Colt magazine, but it has a different cut on the side to engage the regular magazine release. The original Colt magazines actually have the rampant horse on the bottom, on the floor plate of them. I couldn't find any of mine, even though I've had a few for a long time. Of course, the minute I needed them, just like Murphy's Law says, off they go, they're gone. So I could only find one aftermarket magazine to test this with, which isn't always the best, but so far it seems to be working pretty good. And I've got a few more ordered to replace mine until I find them at least. A couple things that are unique to the DOE gun that are not standard for the M16 is you still have flip-up sights on it. You have a two-position peep sight. One of them is for inside of 50 yards. The other sight, the smaller, is from 50 to 100. A couple other things that are different. One that stands out right away is this handguard. It is a round tubular handguard that's very specific to this gun itself. You also have the folding flip-up sights, and you have this guard to keep your hand behind the muzzle where it belongs. So how cool is that? Tom Liemann's DOE M16 upper, 9mm, closed bolt, blowback, select fire, if your lower is select fire. His upper will work with whatever your lower is and conform to whatever your fire control group is. So if it's a semi, it's going to shoot semi. If it's full auto, it's going to shoot full auto. For me, shoots full auto most of the time. So I hope that you enjoyed that peek at his cool upper receiver. It's really fun to look at something retro, especially something that hasn't lost its cool by a long shot. I think, if anything, with the number of people who have come to appreciate and enjoy black rifles, it's going to find itself more popular than it ever was. I really do. The pistol caliber carbines themselves have been really popular, and that's just a really neat alternative. Anyway, happy summer, as I said at the beginning. Thank you for joining me at the range today. I appreciate that. I'm going to make it happen a whole lot more often. I've got a lot of really cool projects coming up. I've got things that I'm waiting on. It's not health related so much this time. Don't forget to check out our merch over at Bunker Branding. We've got a lot of neat t-shirts that they take care of for us. The quality's top notch. The shipping is fast. The prices aren't bad. Really, really cool stuff. If you like to talk guns, check us out over on Facebook at facebook.com/guntestvids. And if you don't subscribe, please do so. Matter of fact, even if you do subscribe, check on it anyway, because people mysteriously become unsubscribed to this channel. I found a lot over the last dozen years. Anyway, till next time, have fun and be safe.